A lot of people assume Florida's population loss is about politics, hurricanes, or cultural shifts. The data doesn't support that. What's happening is quieter and far more dangerous financially. All across Florida, households that followed every rule are sitting down with their budgets and realizing something unsettling. Their paychecks didn't shrink, their lifestyle didn't inflate, yet the math no longer works. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly where Florida residents are relocating, why those destinations make financial sense, and what broke inside Florida's cost structure. This isn't opinion or headlines, it's basic household math. Let's start with one Tampa family because their situation explains the broader exodus. Sarah and Michael purchased their Tampa home in 2021. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in a solid neighborhood near good schools. They weren't overextending themselves. They qualified easily, put 20% down, and locked in a 3.25% mortgage. Sarah worked as a registered nurse at Tampa General, earning $78,000 a year. Michael managed a warehouse distribution center, making $52,000. Together, their household income was roughly $130,000 annually. That put them well above Tampa's median income and firmly in the middle class. Before buying, they carefully ran the numbers. Their mortgage payment was $1,800 per month, property taxes were around $600, homeowners insurance was quoted at $425 per month, just over $5,000 annually, HOA fees were $250. Their total housing cost came to $3,175 per month. That was about 29% of their gross income, just under what economists consider sustainable. They still had room to save, cover their kids' activities, and enjoy life occasionally. Then, the insurance renewal arrived in March 2025, one of those thick envelopes that signals trouble before it's opened. Inside was the number that changed everything: $18,400 per year. That's $1,533 per month for insurance alone, nearly triple what they had budgeted, triple what they paid less than 2 years earlier. Sarah spent days calling insurance agents throughout Hillsborough County. The lowest quote she found was $16,200. The highest exceeded $22,000. Many companies refused to quote at all. Several had stopped writing new policies in Tampa entirely, and others were only renewing existing policies with massive increases. And insurance wasn't the only thing rising. Property taxes increased 38% after the county raised millage rates to offset falling property values. Their $600 bill became $825. HOA fees jumped from $250 to $375 after the community's master insurance policy tripled and passed the cost onto homeowners. Here's what their housing costs look like after those changes. Mortgage, $1,800. Insurance, $1,533. Property taxes, $825. HOA, $375. Total, $4,433 per month on the same income as before. That pushed their housing burden past 40%, and that was before childcare, utilities, vehicles, groceries, healthcare, or anything else a family actually lives on. After accounting for childcare, transportation, utilities, and food, they had less than $1,000 left each month. Not to save, not to plan, just to absorb whatever went wrong next. They cut everything possible. Streaming services gone, gym memberships canceled, eating out stopped. Their kids' activities were scaled back. All of that saved them about $400 per month. It barely made a dent. This is the part many people misunderstand about affordability crises. This isn't about irresponsibility. Sarah and Michael earned well above the median income. They weren't living extravagantly, they were living normally, and the math still collapsed. That leads to the core concept driving Florida's outmigration. Economists separate cost problems into magnitude and velocity. Magnitude is how expensive something is. Velocity is how fast the cost changes. People can adapt to high costs. They cannot adapt to costs that triple in 3 years. If Tampa housing had slowly risen to $4,400 per month over a decade, families could have adjusted. They could have planned career moves, negotiated raises, or made long-term changes. But when housing jumps from $31.75 to $44.33 in just 36 months, there's no adjustment mechanism. Salaries don't triple. You can't slash 40% of a household budget overnight. Life isn't built for shocks like that. That speed, not just the price level, is what forced families out. Sarah and Michael tried to hold on. Over 6 months, they burned through $8,000 in savings. Michael took weekend shifts, working close to 60 hours a week. Sarah considered switching to night shifts for differential pay, but childcare logistics made it nearly impossible. They weren't living anymore, they were just surviving. The breaking point came in August. Their air conditioning unit failed. It was 12 years old and needed full replacement. The quote came back at $7,800. They didn't have it. Financing wasn't available. They put it on a credit card at 23% interest because a Tampa house without AC in August isn't livable. That night, Sarah searched something she never expected to type: cities where nurses earn similar salaries but cost less to live. That's when the math that took them out of Florida began. She discovered that Atlanta area hospitals were actively recruiting experienced nurses, offering nearly identical pay, $76,000 to $80,000 for her experience level. When she looked at housing costs in Atlanta suburbs like Kennesaw, Marietta, and Smyrna, areas with good schools and reasonable commutes, everything changed. She found a 3-bedroom home in Kennesaw listed at $365,000, similar to their Tampa home's value. Mortgage payments would be slightly lower at comparable interest rates. Then she requested insurance quotes. The annual premium came back at $1,400, not monthly, annual. She assumed it was a mistake and called the agent. It wasn't. Some policies were even closer to $1,200, depending on coverage. Here's what that meant. Tampa housing cost $4,433 per month. In Kennesaw, mortgage $1,750, insurance $117 monthly, property taxes around $400, HOA minimal or non-existent in many neighborhoods, so let's assume $100, total $2,367 monthly. That's a $2,100 difference every month. $25,200 per year returned to their household budget. Money to rebuild savings, fund retirement, pay for their kids' activities, and actually live again. Sarah didn't rush the decision. She spent 2 weeks researching Atlanta's job market, school ratings, crime data, healthcare quality, commute times, and neighborhood profiles. Michael researched warehouse management roles and found Atlanta's logistics sector was stronger than Tampa's, with Amazon, UPS, Home Depot, and dozens of major distribution hubs offering competitive pay. They visited Atlanta over a long September weekend, drove through neighborhoods, talked to people at playgrounds and coffee shops. Over and over, they heard the same thing. "We moved here from Florida 3 years ago, and the financial pressure disappeared." By October, they listed their Tampa home at $375,000, knowing negotiations were likely. They began job searches in earnest. In November, Sarah accepted an offer at Northside Hospital for $77,000, a $17,000 pay cut that functionally felt like a $30,000 raise once housing costs were factored in. Michael received 2 offers and accepted one at $54,000, a $2,000 increase. They closed on the Tampa home in January 2026 for $348,000. That was a $27,000 loss from their purchase price, but they still walked away with enough equity to put 20% down on the Kennesaw house. They moved in February. They weren't leaving Tampa because they hated it. They loved their neighborhood. Their kids had friends. They built a life there. But emotional attachment doesn't pay insurance premiums. When the math forces you out, nostalgia becomes unaffordable. And this is where the story becomes bigger than one family. U-Haul rental data, mortgage transfer records, and school enrollment figures all show the same pattern. Georgia received more Florida out migrants than any other state, and the math driving that movement is identical across thousands of households. Tennessee emerged as the second major destination, and the reason matters. Tennessee offers no state income tax, the same benefit that originally drew many families to Florida. For households that moved to Florida specifically to avoid state income tax, Tennessee preserved that advantage while fixing the housing cost problem. A Tampa household earning the median income of $73,000 would find Knoxville or Chattanooga housing costs around $2,000 per month all in, compared to $3,500 to $4,000 in Tampa. That's $12,000 to $24,000 in annual savings with the same tax structure. Nashville proper has become expensive, but surrounding counties like Rutherford, Williamson, and Sumner still offer reasonable housing for middle-income families. This migration isn't random. Families are choosing destinations that solve specific problems. Georgia and Tennessee reduce housing costs while maintaining Southern culture, avoiding harsh winters, and staying close to extended family. The Carolinas represent the third major wave, driven primarily by professionals. Charlotte, in particular, has become a magnet. Nurses, accountants, engineers, tech workers, healthcare administrators, people with degrees and career paths who realized Florida salaries no longer compensated for Florida housing costs. Charlotte offers a professional job market comparable to Florida metros, with housing costs 30 to 40% lower. A nurse earning $78,000 in Tampa might earn $76,000 in Charlotte, but have $18,000 more in annual disposable income. That makes Charlotte a better high-income city than Tampa, even with lower nominal wages. Purchasing power matters more than paycheck size. This is where Florida's crisis becomes structural. Losing professional workers means losing human capital. Nurses run hospitals, teachers educate future workforces, engineers manage infrastructure. These workers are harder to replace and take years to train. Their departure triggers cascading failures. Tampa Bay hospitals reported 40% higher nursing vacancy rates in 2025 compared to 2022. That's not an inconvenience, that's a healthcare capacity crisis that reduces livability and accelerates further departures. Teachers are the most critical loss. A Florida teacher earning $58,000 cannot afford housing in their own district. They'd need $65,000 to $70,000 to reach sustainability. Moving to Georgia or Tennessee often means accepting $54,000 to $56,000 in pay. Technically a cut, but with $12,000 to $15,000 more in real purchasing power. When districts lose experienced teachers, educational quality declines. Test scores drop. College acceptance rates fall. Families with children leave. The cycle feeds itself. But then comes the third wave, which is fundamentally different. Investors. Small landlords who owned 3 to 8 properties began rerunning their numbers in 2024 and 2025. The results showed systematic destruction. A West Palm Beach rental purchased in 2021 for $480,000 rents for $3,200 per month. That's $38,400 annually. Against that income, insurance costs $21,600, property taxes $9,800, HOA fees $6,000, maintenance reserves $3,840. Fixed costs total $42,200 annually before the mortgage. Property loses $3,800 per year before debt service. With a mortgage, negative cash flow ranges from $700 to $1,200 monthly. This only worked when appreciation offset losses, but West Palm Beach values declined 11% from 2023 to 2026. Instead of appreciation, owners lost $44,000 in equity plus ongoing cash losses, over $50,000 in annual wealth destruction. The rational response is to sell, but selling means accepting losses. Properties bought for $480,000 were receiving offers between $360,000 and $360,000. Some owners accepted. Institutional investors waited, offering 40 to 45 cents on the dollar. Small landlords faced a choice between catastrophic loss now or endless bleeding. That capital didn't vanish. It moved to Georgia, Tennessee, and the Carolinas, where insurance costs $1,200 to $2,400 annually, and properties still have cash flow. When small landlords leave, patient capital leaves. Institutional ownership replaces it. Tenant experiences worsen. Turnover increases. Neighborhood stability erodes. Then comes the fourth wave, retirees who did everything right. Robert and Linda moved to Naples in 2021. Robert retired at 68 after 42 years as an aerospace engineer. Linda retired at 66 from healthcare administration. They planned for decades. Their retirement assets totaled $1.2 million. Robert's pension paid $4,800 monthly. Linda's $3,600. Combined with Social Security, their fixed income was $8,400 monthly. They bought a two-bedroom Naples condo for $575,000 in cash, no debt. Their 2021 monthly costs were $2,425. That left over $6,300 for living. Insurance renewals changed everything. $7,300 in 2024, $14,600 in 2025, $23,400 in 2026. Their monthly housing costs rose to $4,400. Healthcare consumed another $1,100 to $1,200. That left about $1,800 for everything else. Travel vanished. Comfort disappeared. Stress replaced the retirement they planned. Their income will never catch up. Insurance is projected to rise 15 to 25% annually. Their pensions will not. They listed their condo last month. They're moving back to Michigan near their family. Housing costs will drop from $4,400 to under $1,000 monthly. For 40 years, retirees moved south. That pattern reversing signals something fundamental has broken. This isn't speculation. The data already shows it. U-Haul outflows, school enrollment declines, nursing shortages, insurance projections, properties sitting unsold for 140 to 180 days. This is happening now. Across all four waves, families, professionals, investors, retirees, the conclusion is the same. Florida's cost structure diverged from incomes at a speed households could not adapt to. Insurance rose 150 to 250%, taxes 30 to 45%, HOA fees doubled. Incomes rose 3 to 5%. No budgeting fixes that. Until something structural changes, the math keeps pushing people out, and the exodus continues. This is the real story behind Florida's population loss. Not politics, not culture, just math that stopped working.